My name is Jennifer. You're watching Metatron is speaking. I'm going to be talking about how to raise your frequency. Everybody has their own ideas on this one, right? And they make it sound kind of complicated. Let me tell you what my guides and what Creator has reiterated to me, and that is to raise your vibration, you must love more. That is it. That is the bottom line. You must love more. So now we're going to break it down and really say, okay, well, what does that really mean? How do I really actually accomplish this? So I'm going to give you very practical, step-by-step piece of information on this. So number one, when you think about loving more, you immediately think about loving yourself. How do you treat yourself? Because if you don't know how to love yourself, you are not going to be able to properly love anybody else. You treat the world how you treat yourself. You treat yourself how you treat the world. So let's start here. So loving yourself. So what does loving yourself look like? Stop neglecting your needs. Stop neglecting your needs. So I know all the busy mommies and all the really hardworking people out there that are so busy doing their job that they like skip their lunch break because they're working. No. When you're hungry, you eat. When you're thirsty, you drink. When you're tired, you rest. When you need to cry, you cry. So address your physical needs first when you're loving yourself. The next step of that is listening to the way you talk to yourself. So stop criticizing yourself. Stop talking so harshly to yourself because that's not loving. That's not the way that you would talk to someone who was your friend. That's not the way you would talk to someone and expect them to want to talk back to you. So why are you, holding yourself captive, holding yourself prisoner and speaking harshly to yourself? So just addressing that, being conscious of the way you communicate to yourself. And going hand in hand with that is stop judging yourself. So it's hard, right? Because this is ingrained in us to judge ourselves and to judge others. It's actually not a natural spiritual state for us, believe it or not. It is something that we were taught. So we need to we need to put the brakes on being so judgmental because, when we die, God is not judging us. The angels are not judging us. No one is judging anyone because we come here to learn. So just keep in mind that whatever mistakes, whatever bad choices that either you make or somebody else makes, there are many, many times, especially the larger those bad choices are, there are a lot of times where that is an agreed upon part of someone's soul contract. And it's hard to fathom that, but it's the truth. Because everything we do when we come here is to learn. So we need to learn about what darkness feels like. In every single way one can be dark. We need to learn what it feels like to be a victim in different ways. We need to learn what it feels like to be light. So we're always learning. And there's no judgment. It's not, oh, this is a not important learning and this one's really important. They all have value. So stop judging yourself as part of loving yourself. The next thing that you can do to love more, other than loving yourself, is releasing trauma. So the problem with trauma is that it's all low vibrational, right? Because all of it was something traumatic that has a low vibration. It has guilt tied to it, depression, really intense anger, anxiety, worry, shame. So all these feelings that are putting us in the wrong direction for our vibration. So the more we can allow ourselves to identify things, feel them, make peace with them, and then let it go, the better off we're going to be. And a lot of this trauma releasing is going to be just acknowledging the feelings and taking a moment to identify how you feel and letting yourself feel it. And then consciously letting it go. for those of us who have a hard time with um, judging ourselves. Because if you have a hard time with judging yourself, you're going to want to keep cycling through it. You're going to be like, oh, well, I did something horrible there, and let's keep thinking about that. And you want to just look at it, address it, and then know that you took from it what you needed to, and it's time to let it go after that. One of the other ways you can release trauma is actually exercise. So I know not everyone loves to exercise. I'm not saying you have to go to a gym or go on a treadmill necessarily, but any amount of body movement, especially, here's the thing, body movement at all is going to help remove trauma. If you do yoga, if you do stretching, if you do Tai Chi, any kind of body movement is going to help loosen things and help bring things to the surface. That's why sometimes you see um, these people in like yoga classes or stretching or whatever, you're doing something and then all of a sudden you really want to cry, or all of a sudden your leg or one of your muscles just starts shaking. That is the trauma that you just brought to the surface that is now trying to exit. And if it's in, a trauma in your leg can't cry. So your leg is going to shake because your muscle has that trauma memory in it, whether it is this lifetime or whether it is a previous last lifetime. So that shaking gets it out, lets it go. So stretching, yoga, if you can get movement in that makes you sweat, yes, that will move even bigger and uglier things out of you. And that's why if you do, if you're one of those people that does like at least 30 minutes of moderate activity, moderate exercise, and you get to the point where you're sweating and you get to the point where you're breathing heavy, and then afterwards you kind of feel, like your shoulders are kind of lower on your body and you just kind of feel relaxed. And that is because you were holding all this trauma and it just escaped you. So if you can fit physical exercise in, great. Your vibration, just so you know, it fluctuates all day long. So it's not like you're like, hey, I have like a 5D vibration. Like maybe you do, maybe you don't, but it moves all the time, right? Because somebody says something to you, and in your mind you're like, oh, that they said that kind of rude, and it's kind of triggering me a little bit, and you kind of feel angry, and so now your vibration's going down a little bit, and then as you process what happened, hopefully it returns back up or whatnot. So it's always a movement. It's never a line. It's never an exact number. It's always moving. So another thing you can do for your vibration. So one, love yourself. Two, release your trauma that's holding you back. You can go and get an Akashic Records reading for that trauma if you want to, for the bigger traumas that are past life. You can come to me. I can help you with that. You can go to my website. Third thing you can do, limit or remove sources of daily low vibrational energy. So there's a lot of different things that fall under this. So let's talk about some of them. So think about your energy you're consuming. When people or things are putting energy out and you are absorbing that into you. So movies, news, people you interact with, social media. So let's talk about those. So if you have a person in your life that is a low vibrational person that makes you feel exhausted after you've talked to them, or they say things that, make you feel conflicted on the inside, make you feel bad about yourself, whatever the case may be. So if you have like a narcissistic parent, I don't want to say quit visiting them, but quit visiting them so much. Don't call them every day. Limit your interaction or stop your interaction. Whoever that person is, I don't, like I said, I don't care if it's your mother, your father, whoever it is. If they're bad for your soul, they're bad for your soul. And that's not a judgment on them. Because not everyone is conscious, and not everyone, if you're not conscious, how are you going to get better, right? So it's not a judgment against them, but it's knowing that you need to make boundaries to keep your energy protected, because if you keep engaging with low vibrational energy, it becomes yours. Energy intertwines and interacts with each other. And that's who wants to live always feeling tormented by whatever a low vibration emotion, you know? So if you have friends that maybe you've had for a really long time, and maybe the friends are into things that maybe don't line up with who you are anymore. Maybe you're starting to recognize that they're a little superficial, or the conversation's just really about worldly things that just maybe don't apply to you so much anymore, right? So if you have people like that whose energy is not aligned with yours any longer, then again, you want to reduce your interaction with them. I mean, you don't have to, but this is my recommendation. Um, let's talk about social media. If So many different kinds of social media. If you're on a type of social media where it looks like everyone has a really amazing and perfect life, but it's really hollow, you know, if you're on social media and you're getting off, or even when you're on it, and if you're feeling like, gosh, they have it so together and I don't travel all over the world like they do, or I'm not I'm not pretty enough, or uh, I don't go to the gym enough, or gosh, I wish my spouse was like that, or wish I had a house like that, or anything that's giving you that like comparison, or makes you feel like there's some kind of competition going on that's not really going on. That's not healthy energy. Again, no judgment on whoever's posting. They post what they post unconsciously from their own insecurities, from their own places of hurt. Not, again, not a judgment. We all act in different ways at different times, right? But you just want to recognize again, is consuming this, is viewing this, sending me energy that's building me up, or does it feel like it's tearing me down? Because there's nothing's neutral. Nothing's neutral. We're building or we're destroying. So just remember that as you consume energy from places. Um, so when you are picking energy to consume, as I say, energy to consume, when you're choosing what you want to watch, look for messages where you feel love, or you feel heard, or you feel supported, or you feel joy. So even if it's you going on social media and you're just watching really cute pet videos, but it makes you feel joy, it makes you feel love, it's like a aw happy moment. Yes, that's what you need more of. So it's not like the content is not relevant, it's how you experience the content. Okay. Sorry, I wrote like all this stuff like on a tangent, so I'm just gonna skip it. Let's see. Yeah, so I'm talking about, because I was talking about staying away from energy that is like comparison energy, where it's like, oh, you're comparing your life to someone else's life, and you're like, oh, I'm coming up short. That is the energy of separation. So that is a lie. So that is pulling you way down into 3D energy or lower. That is Separation energy is not the energy you want. It makes you exhausted, it makes you miserable. Nobody wins with comparison energy or separation energy. So remove those social media accounts, or limit how often you're going on them. Again, surround yourself with voices that support you or build you up, voices that speak from a higher dimensional truth. voices that validate that we are one, that you are loved. We spend so much time around lies that we spend our whole life around lies, right? So of course we believe them. And now we're having to immerse ourselves in truth to slowly change our perspective. So there's tons of lies out there. So it's really easy to immerse yourself in that because it's everywhere, right? It's much harder to find truth right now. It'll change, it's going to get better. But right now, it's still the narrower path. But you need to make an effort to find those narrower paths so you can get out of the lies and out of that negative energy. Yeah, takes perseverance, takes a conscious effort to expose yourself only to good energy. Yeah, because I'm saying one day, like I said, one day this energy is going to be everywhere, right? I hope we see that day. I hope we see that day. So today is just the beginning. You raising your vibration by loving yourself, by saying no to vibrations that harm you, and by removing your trauma. Those are you spreading this new energy of love that will one day be everywhere. This is how it spreads, is you consciously making better choices and you raising your own vibration. That is contagious. The more that other people see that there's a choice between the conscious and the unconscious living, but the more there's a distinction between those, the more that they see there's even an option, the more people are going to be able to make that choice themselves. So yeah, so that's the world that we want to have for our children and our grandchildren, but it starts right now with us moving towards that. So, some of you are probably thinking, hey, I have this job that I hate that I can't leave right now, or there's somebody I live with that's like really pessimistic and I can't get away from them. So, if for whatever reason you cannot get away from that negative energy, or maybe you can't get away from that negative energy right now, let's talk about the next best thing that you can do for yourself. So the next best thing is to start bringing in positive energy for yourself to counterbalance that toxic source of energy that you can't get away from currently. So what you want to do is you want to add joy to your life. So that would be activities or people that you love that bring you joy. Or you can slow down and acknowledge the small things about your day that you love or that you're grateful for, and the energy of joy and gratitude raises your vibration. So that is what I have for you. So raising your vibration, love yourself, release your trauma, remove or limit your daily low vibrational energy sources, movies, news, people. And if you can't remove all of those low vibrational energy sources, or even if you can, bring in joy, bring in things that fill you up and make you feel whole and make you feel excited and make you feel childlike, because that energy is there. So if you just have a little bit of it, it's going to give you a huge boost. So this is my best advice for raising your vibration, and I will see you all next time. Bye bye.